In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome to Word on the Streets with JP. I'm your host, JP, sitting in with my awesome co-host, Miss CE. Hey, CE.
Hi, Jay.
How are you?
I'm good today, thank you.
So you've been at camp for the last week, and so are you worn out?
Well, actually, I had an awesome time at camp.
You
It was
did?
really relaxing, and I had a great time. I didn't have to do a lot with the children, just kind of, take pictures and things like that, so it was pretty cool.
You got to lay back, huh?
Yes.
Well, I went to camp the week before you went, and I'm still recovering. I'm just saying. And then I messed around yesterday and went to camp, went swimming with the teenagers, and that is a mistake.
Oh, yeah.
That's like playing full court basketball with a 15-year-old and you're over 40. It's just not cool.
Yeah,
And so,
cool party.
But God is good, so I'm still here.
Awesome.
So we've got live in the studio our special guests, and so you found these awesome people out at camp.
Yes.
And so we're going to showcase them, and they're amazing champions of change in our communities here in the Atlanta metropolitan area. So let's see who we're going to showcase today.
Okay, awesome. So we have with us today Miss Melissa and Mr. Jimmie Wolfe. And I met Melissa at camp. We were roommates, so it was pretty awesome. We talked a lot during the course of the night, all night. Not all night, but we did talk quite a bit, and I found their life to be very interesting and very inspiring. So I wanted them to be a part of being on the show.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about, just a little teeny weeny bit about them, and they're awesome people. And the Word of God says that, and they'll know us by our love. It says, and by this men shall know that you're my disciple. It's because of the love that we exude. And so you're absolutely the epitome of that, especially in light of the magnitude of how you impacted a couple people's lives. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that.
So just wanted to say welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit about what it is that brought you guys here today. And I was just so inspired by Melissa's story about her being a teacher and a wonderful mother, and then that Jimmie was a pastor, and then he also works for Camp Grace, where we were at last week. So I just wanted to just share what I thought was an awesome experience in meeting you.
Well, back at ya. I think God put us together for a reason.
Yes.
We definitely connected.
Yes, we did.
We
Yes,
did talk a lot.
Yes. So, and I know that you guys have 4 children.
Yes.
Yes. And you have 2 biological daughters, Sam and Emily.
Yep.
Yes. And then there's KK.
Yes.
And then there's your son,
Benjamin.
Awesome. So what I found fascinating about you guys is the fact that you are parents, and that you love children, obviously, because you've already kind of raised yours. Your children are in high school and getting ready to go to college, and then you have 2 other small children that you have in the home right now. So tell us a little bit about life in the Wolfe house with 2 small children and 2 teenager girls.
Well, it's never quiet. Okay. Something's always going on. Our oldest is getting ready to go to college, starting at UGA in just a couple weeks.
Wow.
And so we've been busy this summer getting her ready and packed up to go. Our 16-year-old daughter's about to be a junior in high school, and she's going to play varsity volleyball in her high school this year. So she's been doing a lot of volleyball camp and training this summer. And then we have Kaylee, who is 6.5 and never stops talking. You got the pleasure of meeting KK.
Yes, I did. That's why I can call her KK.
Yep. She is our adopted daughter. She was our foster daughter. And we we're blessed to be able to adopt her. And,
Wow.
so she's officially part of our family. And then we have an unofficial son who is our son in our hearts,
Right.
who was also a foster child for a long time. And his family, he went back to his biological family, and we have a great relationship with them, and they are kind enough to share him with us still.
Yes.
So we kind of are one big family now, and he stays with us about every other weekend. He comes to see us, and over the summer he spends a week on and week off, kind of.
Okay.
Goes to the beach with us, goes on vacation with us if he can. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have him right now. We've had him since last week, and I'll take him back home to his grandma's house today after we leave here, actually. So yeah, but we love him and we appreciate them. We love his family as well. They're like our family, and it's an adventure.
Yeah.
There's lots of issues. They're both African American. Both families are African American. We've always lived in the suburbs of Atlanta. Grew up in Marietta and now live in Woodstock. So there's just always interesting dynamics going on. We have a lot of fun with Grandma especially.
Yeah.
She's
I can imagine
She's a
that.
character, so
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. But we love them.
Okay, awesome. So tell us what inspired you guys to become foster parents.
Yeah. He laughs. This is gonna be funny, I can tell.
It's been a long journey because we had our first unofficial foster child was actually a 24-year-old young lady who was having some hard times, and she was a friend of ours, so we invited her to stay in our home for 2 years. We didn't invite her for 2 years, but she stayed for 2 years.
That's funny how that works.
Yeah. And she, so we lived up in Woodstock, and she was getting connected with some ministries and some families and children in Atlanta and the city. And there was one particular family, a single mom, who had several kids and just a lot of need. So we started having their kids up to our home in Woodstock for a weekend or a week at a time. And they were 8, 7, 5 then, and then there was also
There's
Melissa
some
Wolfe.
little ones.
Yeah, like 3,
Yeah.
2-year-old and 1-year-old.
Yeah.
And so they would come and stay with us, and we just knowing the situation, we thought there might come a time when their mom might need some help, and we wanted to be certified by the state to be foster parents. And so that's why we became foster parents, to become really to be a home for them.
Yeah.
And they're actually Camp Grace kids. They may have been there. There may have been some
Oh, wow.
there the week you were there. I don't know. There's some.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, you would have known.
Yeah.
But they have come this summer. So so that was the reason. Well, they never came to our home. Our first call was actually Benjamin. He was our first placement. And
Yeah.
that was 7.5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to have Benjamin for 6 to 9 months, I think. It's the lie they tell you. DFAX tells everybody. Yeah, 6 to 9 months. And he ended up being with us for 3 years. When he was about a year old, I think we committed to be with him in his life, his whole life. And,
Yeah.
didn't take the path or the road that we thought it would, but here we are, 7 years in, and
Yeah.
That's awesome.
still able to be a part of his family. So
That is amazing.
yeah.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so having 2 African American children is one thing, but dealing with their family too. What? And so this could be quite comical.
Yeah.
Because
It
there
is
are some
sometimes.
cultural differences.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to tell me.
So what? Okay, what's a day in the life? I'm dealing with the family.
With grandma.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
grandma.
grandma.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if she liked us at first. I think it took a while for her to trust us, and when she did, I mean, I talk to her more than I talk to my mother. She'll call me just to talk, and
Yeah.
and she's a character. So sometimes I call down, and she'll answer the phone. She just call ID, and she'll call me the N-word, just kind of affectionately, and to see what my response is.
Shock effect.
Yeah. And I just say, I'm not saying anything back. I can't do that. But and she, we just joke around a lot. And there's this genuine affection, and we really do love them. And it's now 4.5 years that we've been living life this way, and so they become our family. And she calls and prays for us, and we pray for her a lot. And then Benjamin's birth father as well, we're very close to. I call him my brother Daddy. And so they let Benjamin call me Daddy, and he calls him Daddy. So when we're together, I'm Daddy Jimmie. And so when we're together in public, you know, we might be at Chick-fil-A in Woodstock, and Benjamin's calling me Daddy and calling his birth dad Daddy, and I'm like, you know what people think, don't you?
Yeah.
One of those people.
It's complicated.
Yeah. So there's, you know, it's a cross-cultural experience every time, and I learn stuff, and I tell people, everyone has stereotypes about everybody, and especially when you come to issues of you know, race, and so you have thoughts about certain groups, and sometimes those things are reinforced with me, and sometimes they're shattered almost every time, but it's fun because you know, I'm sure I'm one of stereotypes, and we joke about those stereotypes too. They tell me I'm not a white man, so that's, I don't know what that means.
That's a compliment.
Yeah. And Melissa too.
I think just from hearing your story, I think it's a test of our agape, our ability to love somebody completely, you know, and the acceptance of those things that we're afraid of cross-culturally. Those are the barriers that it seems like you've overcome in order to actually be able to operate successfully, you know, function successfully in that family dynamic. It's amazing. But then at the same time, it's really, really simple.
Yeah.
It just all boils down to, I just kind of dig that little guy, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
Because, you know, we can talk a lot. There's lots of issues of race in our culture, and obviously there's, you know, it divides a long way. But and so we try all kinds of different ways to do that. But for us, it's been becoming a family. As soon as, you know, when you're a family with somebody, you're family. And color of skin, all those issues are still there, but I mean, there's genuine love and affection, and they really do love us, and we appreciate their generosity and their just letting us see Benjamin. It's not something they have to do.
Yeah.
And so we are blessed by them, and we really do. We learn a lot from them, and count it a privilege to be a part of their family. So
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's quite apparent that you guys have a heart for God and His children.
Yeah.
And the fact that you guys have brought these children into your home and just love on them proves that you're doing the right thing as far as your calling is concerned, because God bless you guys with children inside and outside of your home. You being at Camp Grace, around children all the time, and then you, Melissa, being at the school teaching children.
Yeah.
So it's just obvious that God has given you guys a calling to help His children, and you're doing a wonderful, wonderful job in doing that.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because it could be so much worse, you know, and a lot of people stop with the love of the child. That's as far as they will go, you know. But to accept the family, the immediate family also is an extra level. It's a higher level of love, you know. And that's where court cases start. And then they start bickering and fighting over the child and all that stuff, instead of bending before someone breaks, you know. And because y'all have taken the higher road, well, everybody has taken the higher road, there's a deeper sense of relationship and community in the family, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah, and it benefits the children.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And
So,
that's one thing we saw was that when you're in the system, the Department of Family and Children's Services system, the system can't build a family. You know, the system, once it gets into the system, it's always bad news for one reason or another, and there's opposing views, and there's power stuff going on. But we became a family because of love, not because of the system. The system can't create a family; only love can. And so we love to be a part of it. And it's not, it's hard, but we love it. And we don't have to muster up the desire to be a part of it, because tonight at our family is pizza night. We have pizza every Friday. I love
That
the pizza.
outfit.
But we don't have to be disciplined to have pizza night because I
Right.
love pizza, and I don't have to be. It's not. Don't pat me on the back for coming down and picking up Benjamin every Friday because I love him and
Yeah,
I
right.
be a part of that family. So it doesn't feel like discipline or feel like anything noble at all when you're just following what you love. And
Yes.
we definitely love his family, love Benjamin. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys definitely have a
It
passion.
shows.
Yes.
Yeah, it does. Well, it's time for us to take a break. In case
Okay.
you're just tuning in, you're listening to Word on the Streets with JP and CE, and we'll be right back.